a sinner, left my lover crying on the dance floor. I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner.
Welcome back to live playing of Kurokami-sama's Feast. Last time we got our eye, arm, and ear ripped off. There is one thing that still bothers me, though, Kurosama's ear. There's a man walking down the street. I strain my hearing and listen. Use Kurokama's listening. Oh, cool. The hell's up with that guy? He's just standing there like a goddamn scarecrow. Man, I hope he's not looking for trouble. Don't come lunging at me out of the blue, alright? I haven't actually said a word to him, and what I'm hearing is the voice in his mind. Next up is a younger man walking his dog. I focus once again and listen in. I've got a yen for curry. Guess I know what I'm getting for dinner. My suspicions were correct. Kurokami-sama's ear allows me to hear other people's thoughts. It doesn't seem to apply to animals, though. Seems like even using the ear drains my energy, so it's something I gotta be careful with. It'll be helpful with my monster hunting, at least. After getting some rest in my room, I decide to head out and get started. When Domaru visits a location, he expands an action point. The end of the action gauge indicates the day of Kurokami-sama's feast. Resting in Daruma's room will consume an action point and restores his spirit energy by 30. The phone icon allows you to call either Nasuka or Shizumi. Whoever you pick will accompany you to any area. Using your phone does not consume any action points. Suddenly I'm playing D&D. The ingredient icon allows you to check which monsters you defeated so far. It helps to keep track of how many ingredients you currently hold. Please select a character to take along with you. Let's try the shopping district. It's time to start looking for monsters. I search the area and ask the locals, but find no trace of anything particularly suspicious. Dang it. Alright, so we can't... That didn't work, so let's keep looking. We're gonna find somebody. That's the good thing about visual novels, you can just reload. It's time to start looking for monsters. We come to a house giving off an intense paranormal energy.
この家に何かいそうじゃない？調べて正解ね。まあ、どう丸にしてはいい感しているじゃないの？
Alright, let's do what we can. It turns out someone in the home is suffering from a mysterious, incurable illness. Needless to say, they've got the share of troubles. Apparently this disease has its victims babbling deliriously, going on and on about China's Qin dynasty or something. It's kind of a stretch, but maybe if I introduce myself as a hunter of the paranormal, I could get the family to talk to me? Once everything is ready for the investigation, I go back to my room to rest. The emails? I have information about a large white alligator. Please hear me out. I'll be waiting at the shopping district. Interested in a mysterious mansion nested deep in the mountains? Meet me near Owata Station if you are. I was attacked by a shadow. Please come to Enoshima. I saw a headless rider. Come to the bridge leading to Enoshima and bring someone who can drive. It's me, Shizumi. Want to go for some karaoke? No. 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 We're not going for karaoke. Let's start with the alligator. Alright, so we go to the shopping district.
私は物理的に強いわ。怪異が出たら守ってあげるから。会長には悪いけど、私を常にメンバーに選びなさいよ。
I think if I switch her out, because I think it'll work if I use Shizumi for that. Inside, we meet a family of 4, the parents and 2 daughters. The older of the 2 sisters, Akiko, is bedridden with an unknown disease, leaving the family at a loss. Akiko is growing weaker and weaker with each passing day. I'm surprised there hasn't been a visual novel with Junji Ito's art in it. I would kill for that. That's more or less the gist of the situation, as told by Toka, the younger sister. There was a strange thing under the floor, covered in hair from head to toe, almost like a big Maltese with dark fur. I figured it must have been some kind of wild animal, but the exterminators couldn't find anything. I can't see it. Alright. My sister got sick the very same day I started seeing that thing. These past few days, whenever I take a bath, I feel something watching me. And when I lie down to sleep, I feel something hairy brush against my thigh and armpits. My sister's sickness isn't psychosomatic. There's something real, something evil causing this. She keeps talking about the Qin dynasty. That must have something to do with it. Toka looks exhausted while she tells us the story. If we don't do something, she might end up getting sick too. Thank you for talking to us. We'll go ahead and take a look around the house now. I guess today's visual novel day, basically. Toka was onto something. Ever since we stepped into the house, I've had this feeling like we were being watched. I focus my energies and tap into the power of Kurokami-sama's eye. And as I do, I spot something unusual, something alien. It's a big ball of fur. Maybe a kaikigen? A kaikigen? Even I know that one. You there! Seems you're able to see me. Not bad for a human. Whoa, you can talk. Is that so surprising? Why, my mother was a lady in waiting to the court of the Qin China. I belong to a noble and storied lineage. The Qin dynasty. That's from way back in BC times. What are you doing in Japan? After the fall of the dynasty, my mother fled to the mountains and subsided in pine needles. She grew fur and even learned to fly. Quite impressive, wouldn't you say? In the time of the Ming, she was set upon by a sorcerer and flew all the way to Japan, where she gave birth to me. Did you make that girl sick? I did. She's a pretty bird, that one, so I infected her. If anything, she ought to be thankful that a noble and well-bred being such as myself has taken an interest in her. The thought of the Kyokujins were, I thought Kyokujins were, more charming. And when she withers away and dies, I'll set my sights on her sister. Guess he's the exception. We're gonna need a fight. This monster's no joke. We've got the extermination. We got to exterminate it right here, right now.
毛受け源だな。薬神とも言われているから、病人が出た今回の事例に当てはまっている。
Any ideas how to beat it?
あの毛に捕まると厄介だと思う。ただ拘束されるだけじゃなくて、最悪病気にされるかもしれない。
Got it. I'll keep that in mind for the fight. Hey you! Lanky loser! You think you're some kind of yokai expert? Get over here! I put some distance between myself and the Kyokugen, taking care not to let its long hair catch me. Oh, you will let me save. Oh, thank God. Requires 70 woof. Oh, so it does get you. If I keep dodging the hair, it'll tangle. It should give me an opening. I throw a glance at Shizumi's direction, which he returns with a curt nod. Looks like he gets me. And once he's all tangled up and can't move, that's our chance to burn him. You just keep dodging and dodging. How utterly mundane. The hair creature floats gently into the air. Fine. I've had enough of this nuisance. Since you've already exposed me, I might as well just leave. And with that, the thing has vanished. I didn't expect it to run off so easily.
長年生きている者の考えはわからないな。ただ、油断はできないぞ。しばらくは警戒しておこう。
However, no matter how long we waited, the Kikijin never showed itself again. Successfully dealt with the no. We need that thing dead, don't we? You sneak into the house and spread disease. You might as well be a plague rat. I unleashed the power of Kurokami-sama's arm. What is that thing? It controls hair like I do, but I've never seen anything like this. Kurokami-sama's arm obliterates the Kyokujin in a blink of an eye. You have to exterminate plague rats swiftly and without mercy. Got some monster food. After finishing up at the scene, I go back to my room to get some rest. A few days later, Toka contacts us with some good news. Her sister has made a complete recovery, but that, as they say, is a tale for another time. So we do have to be careful. We summoned! Let's see, so... White alligator. Let's try this. I arrive at the place described in the email report. It came from a young man named Bill, an American from New Jersey. Bill's in Japan for work and speaks really good Japanese. Buff as he is, Bill looks haggard, downright exhausted. When I meet him, he talks in short, measured fragments. Must have been about 2 weeks ago. I was drinking with my buddy Steve, and we were on our way home after getting totally hammered. As we're walking down the street, I see a manhole cover slid off, and out crawls this huge, ugly bastard of a white alligator. The thing was as good as 7 or 8 meters long. How was that even possible? Aren't the biggest gators in Japan like 5 meters at most? Anyway, this sucker was massive. And like I said, the whole thing was white. I laughed that off as an urban legend of a white alligator living in the sewers of New York. But I'm walking down the street in Japan and there it is. At first I thought I was just too trashed, seeing things, but Steve saw the beast too. You can guess the rest. We turned tail and ran as fast as we could. But then I heard Steve screaming. Turns out the gator gave chase and took a bite out of him. He couldn't run as fast as me, the poor fella. And then the gator did a death roll, I think? It thrashed and turned and eventually crawled back into the hole where it came from. Looks like poor Steve in the eyes of the gator was swallowing him whole, and he begged me to help him. But I just stood there like a deer in headlights. The police thought I was making things up. I told them I must have been one too many beers and hallucinated the whole thing, but Steve's really gone, god damn it. And ever since then, I really been hallucinating. I see visions of white gators out of nowhere. I near shit myself when it shows up, but then I start running and it always turns out to be an illusion. Here, what makes my blood run cold though? What if the moment I let my guard down, thinking it's just another illusion, the real one shows up and has me for dinner? That's what got me out here today. So, if I take the gator, it might put a stop to your hallucinations. I'd say it's worth a shot. I part ways with Bill after getting all of the info I need out of him. He gave me the exact time and place he met the white gator.
白いワニか。アメリカの都市伝説では有名だけど、日本に出てくるとはな。捨てられて死んだペットが怪異になった。
I wonder if I should have brought the girl.
シンプルだけどあり得る話だ。いずれにせよ、メールを見て俺も怪異を退ける武器は用意してきた。歯じゃ魔除けの効果が高いと言われる霊刀だ。
Okay, so he is going to be useful. It's finally time. The manhole cover slides open with a loud clang. Ooh, look at that beauty! And out crawls a massive white alligator. Wow, so it really does exist. Shizumi and I exchange a meaningful look.
落ち着いていけ。いくら巨体とはいえ怪異。黒神様の手であればまず倒せるはずだ。
I wanted to keep the observations for it a while longer, but I guess that's out of the question. If we don't take this thing right now, it'll be our next meal. I should have brought the girl. I don't have enough energy for this. Shoot monkeys. Okay, what's next? Well, I'm thinking the gator makes its way back into the manhole. It's running?
させるか。切る。
The gator may have escaped through the manhole, but Shizumi managed to slice off a chunk of it with his spirit blade. That was amazing, Mr. President. You move like a master swordsman straight out of a manga.
ただ無我夢中で振っただけだ。今後の当てにはしないでくれよ。しかし逃げるとはね。君の得体の知れなさとこの冷凍にひるんだか。
Okay, so we did get some food out of that. We searched and searched, but we couldn't find any trace of the white alligator. After finishing up the scene, I go back to my room to get some rest. Shortly thereafter, the stories about the white gator in that area stop circulating altogether. But we know we didn't finish it. We know that that thing could still be out there somewhere lurking in the sewers of another city. We should totally rest. We need to get our energy back. I rest up in my room. Okay, that'll work. Okay. A water station. I arrive at the place described in the email report. I contact the sender and arrange a meeting. He's an elderly man, probably in his 80s. He introduces himself as Yamakaze, and it proceeds to tell me the following. Ever heard of Arishigayama-san? Not the tall rock round these parts, but it's got other things going for it. You see, up in them there mountains stands a lone mansion. Now you might wonder where it is, but I couldn't tell you. You just stumble across that place sometimes, can't find it, even if you're looking for it. Yeah, you got it. The house itself is something out of this world. If you find yourself in front of the mansion, might as well take a look inside. A certain hunter once did. The place has a feel of people living there, but strange as it is, you'll never find a soul. The fireplace is lit, there's a crackling there's chickens prancing around the yard. You'll even see freshly cooked food lining the tables. Sure enough, the hunter took a bite of something there. Oh, he rejoiced, for the taste was indeed divine. He then nabbed one of the more expensive-looking trinkets as a souvenir, and he took his leave. But when he came back, the hunter was struck with guilt, so he went right back to Arishi, to give back what he stole. Strange thing was, he couldn't find the mansion where it stood before. He searched high and low with no luck, but just as he'd given up, ready to pack up and leave, there it was again, the mansion. The old place stood devoid of people, just as it did before. The hunter returned, the bauble he took, and even left an offering to atone for his crime. Yet, just as he was about to leave, the gate wouldn't budge, and some invisible force kept him from leaving through the fence. He struggled and pushed and pulled, but no dice. He was trapped. To the hunter's astonishment, though, as long as he stayed in that mansion, he didn't never grow hungry. So you see, he never actually died. At first he counted the days, tracking his confinement, but as time marched on, the days blurred together. So you get the idea just how long he was trapped in there. There he was, forlorn and bereft of all hope, when suddenly the gates to the old mansion just opened and by themselves. And yet, by the time he was out, the hunter had grown old and frail with the years. And here he is now. Yeah, maybe it was obvious, but I'm the self-same hunter who spent all of them years trapped inside the old mansion. I was a teenager when I first set foot in that place. It was like the story of Urashima Taro, so I called it the Dragon Hall. Listen here, son, if you ever find the Dragon Hall, you may enter at once, but heed my words, never, ever go back. That's all I gotta say. I waited a long, long time for someone to hear my story, so thank you so much. Upon finishing his story, Mr. Yamakaze simply vanishes.
ちょっと今、おじいさん消えたわよね。どういうこと？おじいさんはおかしな屋敷にいる間に人間をやめちゃったってこと？
We brought the wrong person. His story was about the mansion might be true. Let's go check the place out. We enter the serene mountains of Arishi in search of the place the old man had told us about. We walked and walked, finding no trace of any mansion. So I think what's going on is... There's a story about this. I'm trying to remember it. He did say the Dragon Hall keeps shifting to different places, but still, where in the world is it? We wear ourselves out hiking around, looking for our target, and come up empty. With no options left, we decide to head home. There it is, out of nowhere. If you forget, it popped out of nowhere. The place seems no different from your typical mansion. You certainly wouldn't suspect it had much to do with the paranormal. If anything, its tranquil atmosphere nudges me to drop my guard. Well, here we are finally. What now?
この屋敷そのものを破壊する？
Damn, she's just going straight for it, isn't she? For starters, let's take a look inside. The old man said one visit would be safe. The place looks lived in, but there's no one actually around. Just like Yamakaze said, there's a few chickens in the garden, calmly nibbling away at their feed. Where does their food come from, though? We managed to leave the house without an incident. The moment we do, the building simply vanishes. I never felt an ounce of hostility. And so I make myself a promise. If I come back here again and end up getting trapped, I'll tear the whole building down. I go back to my room to get some rest. Okay, so that one didn't do anything. Okay. I'm gonna try that one again, but I want to try with the guy.
「すでにあの老人も怪異の一部になってしまったのかもしれないな。祈ろう。あの老人の魂が平穏であることを。民話にある迷いがという伝承ととても似ているな。もっとも迷いがは害を及ぼさないけど。
Okay, so it's the same. Alright, so nothing changed there. Attack by his shadow. Let's see. If it's a shadow, you know what? If it's a shadow, we may want to bring the girl. Fuck. I didn't save before then, I'm dumb. see. Enoshima. Let's try this one. I arrive at the place described in the email report. The person who got in touch with us is a young girl in her 5th grade of elementary school. She introduces herself as Yumeko. So then, could you fill us in on the details, Yumeko? Slowly but surely, Yumeko begins to talk. When we go to school in the morning, we usually do it in groups, but we don't do that when we go home after classes. So after I say goodbye to my friends, I usually take 5 minutes to get home on my own. But that's when it happened. Suddenly I heard someone's voice. It sounded like they were in pain. They kept asking for help over and over again, and the voice sounded kind of familiar too. So then I looked down at the ground and saw something really scary. There was a man's shadow next to mine, and it was strangling me. I was completely alone, with no one else around, but that man's shadow was still there. And these pained moans were coming from my own shadow, in my own voice. When I saw all that, my throat suddenly began to feel tight. The man's shadow then took the safety alarm keychain from my shadow and broke it. When that happened, the actual safety alarm I had on me broke also. So I started hitting the man's shadow with my umbrella. Eventually, it kind of just disappeared. But ever since then, I've been too scared to even look at my own shadow, and Yumeko breaks down crying. Upon closer inspection, I do notice some marks on her neck. The authorities will no doubt treat this as a work of child predator, but Yumeko's story makes it pretty clear that there's a paranormal entity involved. There's another paranormal game I really need to buy to stream. What the fuck? Sorry. Don't worry, Yumeko. I'll get rid of the shadow for you. We make our way to the spot where the incident occurred, seeing how she apparently fended off the shadow by hitting it with an umbrella. We bring along a metal bat. We wait until the clock hits the exact same hour when Yumeko was attacked. But seeing no trace of any hostile shadows in the vicinity, thinking we might have missed it, we decide to leave for the day when suddenly, "It hurts," I hear someone say that in an eerily familiar voice. Upon looking down at the ground, I notice my own shadow being strangled by that of another man. There it is. There's no actual man around, only a shadow.
どうまるから手を離しなさいよ、こいつ。
Asuka steps on that part of the ground where the man's shadow is. In response, the shade lets go of my throat. Thanks! This time, the man shade reaches for Natsuki's shadow. What's more, it's got a knife in its hand. Shit! He's about to stab Natsuki's shadow. What happens if we use our own strength? Natsuki, watch out! I try to save her, but there's only so much I can do like this. The moment her shadow gets stabbed in the throat, the real Natsuki's neck also erupts in a fountain of blood. She collapses to the ground and begins violently convulsing. Natsuki glances up with a heartbreaking expression that's clearly trying to tell me something. Yet all I can do is watch in horror as she bleeds out. We got our first game over, folks! Joke's on you, asshole. I can only load. I've got no choice. I unleash the power of Kurokami-sama's arm and send the man shade flying.
Nice follow, Domare!
Looks like Natsuki is safe. Good. Seemingly intimidated by Kurokami-sama's power, the man's shadow attempts to hastily retreat. I immediately take a leap and use Kurokami-sama's arm to strike at the shade. We hear a bizarre, otherworldly scream from the ground. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that sound was either. Just go with it. And the man's shadow finally stops. Did we get him? Probably because it's already dead. I managed to grab the shade with my bare hands. We could certainly use this thing for the feast. Defeated monstrous man shade. After finishing up the scene, I go back to my room to get some rest. Yumeko contacts us later, telling us that her injury is healed and that she's no longer afraid of her own shadow. But that, as they say, is a tale for another time. Let's do one more day in this game. What do you guys think of this one? Do you guys like this one? Do you guys like it when I do horror visual novels? Because I love them. I just never get to do them enough. There's one I'm really looking forward to doing that's on my Steam wish list. Because I love the first one so much. Alright, time to head out. You know what? Screw it. Let's karaoke our booties off, guys. Let's do some karaokeing. Maybe we'll see a karaoke ghost. I visit the karaoke place. A man needs to kick back and relax from time to time, you know?
古来より歌は霊力を秘めるという。案外霊力が上がったりしてな。さあ、大義名分もできたし、歌おうか。
We sing like there's no tomorrow. As we do, I notice an unusual change. I can actually feel my body overflowing with spiritual energy. I guess thanks to all the enthusiastic singing. Oh, cool. That really does work. That was certainly an unexpected but wholly pleasant surprise. Now it's time to go back to my room and sleep like a log. So... Kiwi, you're weird. So we still have the mansion. We did the shadow. Who can drive? Enoshima. Okay. He has no opinions yet. That's okay, Gandalf. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are having a fantastic day, just like everybody else enjoying the stream. Do a bit more of this, then maybe we'll do one more game today. We've already dealt with the monsters in this area. But isn't Enoshima where we need to go? Let me reload that really quick. Enoshima. Huh. So we did Enoshima's. What happens if we do Awada again? Oh, right. We, yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna try something. 10:30, so feeling pretty good. Woo! Let's see if we can go back to the mansion one more time. We make our way back with the intention of revisiting the Dragon Hall. The mountains are still as eerily silent as I expected. The mansion, however, isn't where we found it before. Pretty sure this was a place, though. Let's take a look around. What is popping up? Am I getting an error? No. Stop giving errors. Don't be mean. Don't bully. You're bullying. That's not fair. Okay. I just found where the error is. Okay. There we go. Fixed. And then? Huh? That's a weird error. Sorry, something is saying I don't have permission to access something on my own computer. Hold on, why are you saying that? Stop it. I have permission to access everything on my computer. There it is. I guess it always pops up just as you're about to leave, huh? From the outside, the place hasn't changed one bit, and I still don't sense any hostility. No, I fixed it. It popped up at the end. With my mind made up, I throw the doors open and step inside. Wait, don't pop up in front of what I'm doing. It living space. It's a model of an ideal Japanese home. In the living room, we find plates packed with lavish meals. I can't open the door. All the doors and gates are closed. There's no escape. We're trapped, apparently, by some invisible force. My sound glitched out for a second? Yeah. I think when that error happened, that's what happened. So, it's come to this, huh? I guess I've got no choice but to tear open the whole place down from the inside. You hear me? I yell at the top of my lungs, but no one answers, and the doors are still locked. So, let's see. Let's look for another way. Gotta try something else. We try digging a way out and find ourselves stopped by an invisible force before we can even hope to finish. We can't destroy the fence
この
either.
家はもしかしたら怪異なんてレベルじゃないのかもしれない。山の神の住処と言うべきか。
And so it turns out Kurokami-sama's arm is our only hope. But soon comes to a terrifying realization. I can't gather up my spiritual energy. If anything, it's being drained away.
まさか俺自身が怪異の被害者になるだと。
Does this mean I won't be able to use Kurosama's arm no matter how long I wait? I underestimated this place thoroughly and bitterly. Come on, let us out! Let us out, goddammit! Let us out! I can't get too loud because of my throat. My desperate plea echoes hopelessly into the air. We'll spend the rest of our lives here until we grow old and frail just like Yamakaze. If the Dragon Hall, the mysterious mansion, appears before you in the mountains, heed these words. Never, ever enter the second time. Okay. Ooh. One second. Sorry about that, folks. Still trying to figure out what the fuck I'm getting this error. Beep, 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 beep. Don't give me an error. You're picky. Okay, so I'm gonna try Kurosama's arm. No way, we're getting stuck here. All I have to do is bring the whole place down. I unleash the power of Kurosama's arm. And smash it into one of the support pillars. But it doesn't leave a scratch. The hell? No matter where I strike at the house, I can't seem to leave any permanent
この
damage.
家はもしかしたら怪異なんてレベルじゃないのかもしれない。
You mean we can't kill it?
脱出に全エネルギーを使おう。これは撤退案件だ。これだから山は恐ろしい。
I scratch at the empty space above the fence, which causes a small crack to form in the air. Look, Mr. President, we can get us out of this. After widening the crack, we manage to escape the Dragon Hall. After widening the crack, okay. By the time I turn back to give the building a parting glance, it's already vanished into the air. What even was that place? Out of all the food laid out in the living room, the only thing brought back was a single rice ball. After finishing up at the scene, I go back to my room to get some rest. In the end, we never ran into the elderly man ever again. So there we go. that was the Feast of Kurokami-sama. Thank you guys for joining me for this one.